Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a video all about foundations that are good for my oily skin. Everybody's skin is different, so even though these products work for me, they might not work for you. But these are just products that, like I said, I feel like have just stood out above them all. I included both drugstore and high-end, and I also included both light, medium, and full coverage foundations because I know everybody likes, you know, a different amount of coverage. So I'm just going to go ahead and get started. I'm just going to start with the drugstore products that I have. And I also want to mention that I have tried out like the Kat Von D foundation, and I love that foundation, but it oxidizes on me so bad. But if you do have oily skin, I have tried that out and I do really like it. So starting out with the drugstore, I'm just going to mention the Maybelline Fit Me Matte and Poreless foundation. This is really good. I have the shade Porcelain and Ivory. They do have a shade in between here, but I can never find it's never in stock, so I always just get these two and mix it. This is great on my skin because more like in the fall and winter and spring months when my skin is just more oily, kind of in the T-zone, this is great. And this is a nice like medium coverage foundation, but I can really like sheer this foundation out to where it's a light coverage, but I can also build it up in the areas where I need to build it up, and it doesn't go like cakey or start looking heavy, and it is a really like light coverage foundation. What I really love about this one is the fact that like it does what it says, like it is poreless. Like I have issues with foundations sinking and like emphasizing my pores, and this does not do this whatsoever, and that's one of the reasons that I do really love this foundation, and I totally think that, you know, if you haven't tried it, you should. I do still like to use a primer and a powder with this afterwards just to get the, you know, most lasting power. So as far as long as this lasts, it lasts about 8 hours. I've got my notes right here. But yeah, this lasts about 8 hours on my skin before I feel like, hey, I need to blot or I need to powder or touch up or something. So overall, it does really good. The next drugstore foundation is this CoverGirl Outlast Stay Fabulous, and I'm in the shade Classic Ivory. As you guys can see, mine's nasty because I use it so much. This is a really nice, again, like medium to more full coverage foundation. It's super affordable. It's been around for a really long time. It has a pump. My only like downfall with this is the smell. It has a really strong smell, and I don't like it. But I don't, you know what I'm saying, like I don't like hate it because of the smell. I really like this because out of all the drugstore foundations, this one I feel like looks the most natural on my skin, and this one lasts longer than the Maybelline one, but this one doesn't do as good it doesn't do as good of a job at like just gliding over my pores, you know what I'm saying? Like I feel like with this foundation I need to use like the Benefit Professionals or like just something to fill in my pores. And I mean, this doesn't sink in, but it doesn't like glide over them, if that makes any sense, as nicely as like the Maybelline one does. But I do still really love this foundation, and I love how long it lasts. And then finally, for the other drugstore foundation, I felt like everybody was obsessed with this one, and it's the L'Oreal Infallible Pro Matte Foundation. I have two shades here. I have 102 Shell Beige and then 101 Classic Ivory. The only issue I have with this is the color selection. The range is not very good, I feel like, whatsoever. I feel like they could definitely benefit for using some more, because 101 is way too light for me and 102 is like way too dark. And they both got like different undertones, so when I mix them, it just doesn't look quite right. So I have to wait till I'm like super dark in the summertime to wear this. But this foundation does last. Like when I put this on, this is the longest lasting drugstore foundation that I have ever tried. It really does give you that matte finish. So if you don't like a matte finish, you might not like this, but it's not like a flat matte like it says. I think it says like a demi matte finish, yeah. And it is really nice, and for the full coverage that you get from this, it is really lightweight, and that's another thing that I love about this. I don't ever have to touch up when I wear this foundation in the summertime, and that's also when I get more oily. But this is a great foundation. Again, just like the Maybelline one, it does really glide over my pores really nicely and look really flawless on the skin. But this is a foundation that I feel like I can definitely tell that I've got foundation on. But if I use this with a beauty blender, this is full coverage. But if I use like the beauty blender or the Real Techniques sponge and like, you know, blend it out like that way, then I get more of a like lighter coverage, but it looks so natural. But like I said, I do really love this foundation. Now moving on to some high-end foundations. I actually have a couple, and the first one I want a light coverage foundation, and this is the Becca Ever Matte Shine Proof Foundation. I'm in the shade Porcelain. I actually did a full review and like demo of this, so if you guys would kind of like to see it, I'll link it down below. This is a light to medium coverage foundation. Even when I build it, I can't really get like a full coverage foundation, but it does kind of, you know what I'm saying, like mask anything, but it's really light and it like feels like nothing on your skin. But this, out of, again, all of these foundations, high end, this is the longest wearing foundation that I have, but I just wish it was a little bit more full coverage. And something else though about this foundation is that I feel like I have to use quite a bit of this to, like I said, get the desired coverage, but it doesn't sink into my pores. It lasts forever. The color range in this line is really good. And like I said, I feel like if your skin is, you know what I'm saying, like you don't really have any issues or need to cover up a lot, I would definitely recommend checking out this foundation because it is really good. Next is like an oldie but like a goodie. This was one of my first like ever high-end foundations, and this was the MAC Pro Longwear foundation. This has SPF 10 in it, I believe. Yeah, SPF 10. And it's a really great foundation. It does last a really long time. Not as long as like my Becca one, but it does last a really long time. And so again, I do love that about it. The only thing is that their foundations, I feel like, lean a little bit more on like the yellow undertone side, because when I'm really fair, this is a shade NC20, but when I'm really fair, I have to use NC15, and it can still look a little bit like yellowy, not like neutral. But I do really like this. It doesn't sink into my pores. This is kind of like, this is my sister's go-to foundation. Like, she pretty much won't use anything else, and she's tried so many. So, but this really is a great foundation. It does have a smell though, which is something else I don't really like, but you know what I'm saying, I can get by that. And then the last two are probably like my all-time favorite foundations, and the first one is the Estee Lauder Double Wear Stay in Place Makeup. I'm in the shade 1 and 2, but I'm going to be switching over to the shade Desert Beige because summertime is getting here. But to me, this is my favorite foundation because it is so long wearing and it gives you medium to full coverage. Like, you can sheer it out to get a medium coverage, or it gives you full coverage. It just looks beautiful on my skin, and it keeps me matte without getting oily all day. Like, I just... Like I said, if you have not tried this foundation, I would definitely recommend it. I feel like it's just one of the best foundations out there on the market, and I love this. So you guys should definitely try it out. Again, it still looks really natural, but it's super full coverage, and that's what I love about it. And then I want to mention the Makeup Forever Matte Velvet Foundation. 35 is my summer shade. 30 is the shade that I am right now. And I do have this foundation on today. And what I love about it is that it just makes my skin look so flawless, and it doesn't sink into my pores. It glides over it, and it leaves more of like a velvety matte finish, so I'm not like a flat matte. And something else that I love about this foundation though is that it's really buildable. Like, some foundations, when you start to build them, they can look cakey. This doesn't look this way, so I can, again, get like a medium to full coverage like finish from this product. So this one is not as long lasting as like my Estee Lauder Double Wear, but this does still last a long time. I'd say around hour 8, I kind of need to blot and touch up. But when I do start getting oily, like right here or here, I can touch it and it does transfer. But like right now, it doesn't transfer, but if I get oily in like my T-zone and I don't blot first and then powder, this does transfer. So I would just make sure to kind of be careful of that. But overall, like I said, it is an amazing foundation. So anyways, I hope that you guys liked this video. I know it's like a little bit, I don't know, different, but I was always on the hunt for like really good matte foundations, especially for my skin type, and I felt like just like I could not find any reviews, so I wanted to do one for you guys. So again, if you would like to see a demo of any of these, I know I do have a demo of like the Becca one on my channel. You can just check out, or if you'd like to see any other ones, just let me know and I'd be happy to do those. Anyways, if you guys are new to my channel, please don't forget to subscribe, and as always, thank you guys so much for watching. Bye.